Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, we have to discuss what happened yesterday on the Undisputed show with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe, man. A lot of disrespect thrown out there, a lot of nonverbals, a lot of microaggressions and all of that good stuff, man. I'm going to play for you the audio of that exchange between Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, and I'm going to come back with my commentary. But before I go ahead and hit that, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you got that notification bell clicked so you can see all the videos as soon as I upload them. Another thing I wanted to say before I even hit the play button, I know I'm a day late, and I know they came in this morning on the show and kind of like, Skip apologized and they gave a little fist bump and then they went into it. That was totally for TV, because if it wasn't for TV, they would have did their apologies off camera. They did it on camera, for the audience. But me personally, if I was Shannon Sharpe, there's no coming back from this. And I wouldn't even be surprised if, this is like the beginning of the end of that couple being on Undisputed, similar to the way when you saw all those microaggressions between Max Kellerman and Stephen A, mostly coming from Stephen A's side toward Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman really didn't give him a lot of that. But I think Stephen A. Smith took it personal when they had Max Kellerman taking sides of NFL and NBA players, especially the black ones, on certain social issues. And people was calling this question Stephen A. Smith's blackness, and I guess he kind of took offense to that. And I think some of that kind of grew the tension between them two, or the resentment or whatnot. They went to go another way with that. But I think we kind of seeing the same thing what's going on with Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe is saying that, look, I made my name in this space just as well as any other analysts, not just former athletes, but analysts, period. Shannon Sharpe has made a name for himself, mainly with the LeBron James love that he was throwing out there, the blind witness type love he's been giving them. And then he already got his Club Shay Shay podcast going, and he's getting all types of players on that platform. So he might see a way that, look, man, I might not need this as much as you think I do, Skip. So I'm gonna say some things that I normally wouldn't say. So the exchanges between Skip is getting very loud and almost unprofessional, hard to watch if you even watch that show anyway. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip. It's about 2.5 minutes long, and I give you my thoughts afterwards.
Watches more tape, Tom Brady or all the coaches?
All the coaches.
Stop it.
All the coaches.
Stop
Skip,
it.
I'm not going to let you do it.
No,
I'm not going to let you do it.
Going to do
I
it
don't care.
because I just
I'm
did
not going to let you be disrespectful to these damn coaches because you love Tom Brady.
Nobody,
Tom Brady does not watch more tape than
quarterback
coaches. He does not.
History of this league.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a flat out lie.
That's a flat out lie that you're perpetrating. There's
no
never
way.
been anything, because you can't stand it that Tom Brady at 45 is still playing this game at a very high level.
Yeah. You see these numbers?
Yeah.
These numbers say Tom Brady's not playing at a high level.
I need you.
No,
okay, you're in the Hall of Fame
about.
because you're scared to death of him because he's haunted you. Time out. Ladies and gentlemen at home, I would like to announce the fact, if you're new to our show, that this man for 6 straight years on this show that we have been partners at this debate desk has tried to send Tom Brady home, said he's washed up, his arm is in decline, and he should just go on home. It started the first day of this show in September of 2016, and he has been wrong for 6 straight years, and he's going to be wrong again. I'm standing by what I say.
How convinced are you Tom Brady's going to win the Super Bowl?
Okay, I picked him to win it. I'm not backing off.
Well, put something on it.
Well, what do you mean I put my pride on it? I put my pride. Who did you pick? You picked the Rams and the Chargers, okay?
And the only difference is everybody knows the Rams are bad, but they don't want to say Tom Brady is playing just as bad as Matt
Stafford. Off.
Skip, they're in the Tampa division. They're in the worst division in football.
Good. Are they going to be in the playoffs? Help me out.
Skip,
I need you to
That's your argument.
Okay,
That's your argument.
What do you mean that's my argument?
Your argument is that they're going to be in the playoffs. Is Tom Brady playing bad? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, he played poorly yesterday.
What do you mean yesterday?
Okay,
all year.
But you're giving him 100%
I
of the
did.
blame?
Because
That's just, you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate. Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No.
I did what I
never
did.
said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you. What I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal.
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Go ahead.
you disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You would disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game.
Oh boy, a lot to unpack with that, man. I start with the small stuff. You know, first of all, that whole clip started with Skip Bayless asking Shannon, do you think Tom Brady watches more film than all the coaches? Not the offensive coordinator, not the head coach, all the coaches. Do you think Tom Brady watches more film than all the coaches? If that's not the most delusional thing I've ever heard, and I think that's the reason why Undisputed is not doing as well ratings-wise as they want, because you got Shannon Sharpe on one end of the spectrum that's a delusional LeBron fan that'll go through great lengths to just I mean, and when he first got on air, that was like a hot topic because the LeBron James versus MJ conversation was heating up, and it was a hot topic to be had. Like every show was talking about it. But as time went on, and we obviously see, no, LeBron James is not as good as Michael Jordan. It was still good conversation because people would feed into it, and people like Nick Wright and Shannon Sharpe, you know, they made their money on being on the extreme side of on LeBron's spectrum, and Skip Bayless made his money of being on the opposite extreme by going totally against LeBron. Kendrick Perkins as well. You can throw him in there with Nick Wright and Shannon Sharpe. So the more they had these conversations, and then you got Skip that is a diehard LeBron hater. He's on one end of the string. Then you got him as a diehard Cowboys supporter on one end of the string, and then you got him as a diehard Tom Brady supporter on one end of the extreme, and that's how they built their show. Shannon is for LeBron, Skip is not. Skip is for Tom Brady, Shannon is not. So for basketball and football, for in the NBA and NFL, they got their argument points, and they would go to that all day long. I mean, they'll talk about Lakers and LeBron every single day, or they'll talk about Tom Brady every single day, or the Cowboys every single day. And there's so much basketball and football to be talked about and to be had, and they just won't do it. And if they do it, they do it for a small amount of time, and they go right back to the LeBron stuff, right? So that, I think that was noteworthy to even mention. But the big part of that argument is that Shannon Sharpe has been critical of Tom Brady, probably by design. He's been critical of Tom Brady ever since he's been on this show, and that's been an argument, and it gets personal sometimes. And then he started being critical of Baker Mayfield when Skip Bayless was very supportive of him, right? So that conversation always gets to a heated debate, and I think it came to a head on this episode because Skip Bayless didn't have any bullets to shoot, really, right? Because Baker Mayfield or Tom Brady this year hasn't given him anything to boast about or brag about. So Shannon Sharpe has been winning that argument every time they have it. And he just didn't have any bullets to shoot at Shannon anymore, so he went personal. And he went with a low blow. And it's funny because when NBA and NFL former players become analysts, and they're on these platforms with people who never played past the high school level, or who didn't play at a college level that was worth even mentioning, like Stephen A. Smith, it's almost like an unspoken rule where, like, look, in order for us to share this space together, you can't, if I'm your co-host, you can't trump me, and in the conversation when we're having a debate, by saying I played, you didn't. And I agree that's kind of an unfair thing. Obviously, they could never have that conversation on that level with them. So it's almost like the players have to punch them with kid gloves when it comes to, like, how can you even have a conversation with a former player when you never played? It's very hard, especially when you're not even an athletic type, right? It's very hard to have those conversations. So, like I said, they punch with kid gloves, and Shannon Sharpe has become really good at sparring with Skip Bayless and never pulling the ultimate trump card by saying, dude, you don't even know, shut up. You don't know, right? But for Skip Bayless to take that position and say, absolutely, Tom Brady watches more film than the coaches, it kind of triggered Shannon. Like, come on, man. Like, really? Right? And I remember when Jalen Rose came out and called him Water Pistol Pete and all that stuff, man, that famous rant where he went in on Skip that ultimately lost him his job at ESPN. I think Skip got so hot and so mad, like, he must have told him it's either me or him, right? So that's one. Jalen Rose was famous for that rant, and he ended up elsewhere. He ain't been on the platform with Skip Bayless since, I don't think, right? So so Skip doesn't like when someone does it to him, but he had no problem doing it to Shannon. And mind you, it's almost like a bully effect, because anytime you have a person that would go across the line with you at any given moment to win an argument or debate or a fight, but they know that you can't cross that line back, it's kind of unfair. And Shannon knows he can't cross that line back because Skip ultimately is the reason why he got that job. So he has a certain loyalty there, man. So it's kind of sad that Skip did that and Shannon responded in a way. Just the way he said, put your glasses back on. Like, he got heated and he took his glasses off and was like, you would disrespect me to support a guy? Like, you telling me I'm disrespecting him by saying he playing bad, but you willing to go and say these things and disrespect me and tell me he's way better than me, and just right off the fact that I done won with 2 different teams 3 Super Bowls. I'm one of the best tight ends that ever played. I'm one of the best football players that ever played. I'm in the Hall of Fame. All of these things. He's going to throw that low blow and say, you're jealous of him because he's still playing at 45 and you had to stop at 35. What kind of idiotic statement is that? Then he's going to say, yeah, I support him, because he asked him, you're going to disrespect me to support him? Basically, his answer was yes, because his answer was, I support him over any player, which also means I would disrespect any player to support him because he's the best player that ever played your game. Now, that's your game you played, and he's the best that ever played, which is another untrue statement, but he said it, and he continued to cut his legs from under or throw low blows at him. And Shannon takes his glasses off, and I guess that was one of those I guess is equivalent to him actually getting out of his seat, or him taking his blazer off or something like that. Like, all right, man, the next like, that's one of those things. Like, look, all right, I'm really paying attention to what you're saying, and the next things that come out of your mouth is gonna be real crucial, because taking my glasses off is just a preliminary to something else. Like, this could get physical, right? I'm taking my glasses off, right? And the way Skip at 1,000 years old, right, and a foot and a half shorter than Shannon, and probably 150 pounds lighter than Shannon, looks at him with all the confidence in the world and tells him, "Now put your freaking glasses back on," with a smirk on his, with a look on his face like, you ain't about to do nothing, right? Imagine that on national TV. He did that. Put your glasses back on, right? With a look like you ain't about to do nothing. And then he leaned back in his seat like I'm gonna get in a relaxed posture because I know you ain't gonna do nothing. And when Shannon put those glasses back on, Lord, you could have sold me for a penny. I couldn't believe it, right? So what I think is really going on is a little bit of tension between them. I think Skip don't like the ratings of the show right now, and I think Shannon is not biting his tongue as much as he used to, because he know if worst case scenario, he could just do his podcast full time. You know, he probably won't make the same amount of money, but you know, he'll be fine. Plus, he don't need the money like that anyway. But I think he's less reluctant to bite his tongue now, like he's been doing, and the show is dying. You know, the show is dying, and you're gonna see a lot of different microaggressions from now on until they decide that they go break the couple up. That's what's gonna happen. It's like a married couple. Before the end, you always see these back and forths, these arguments get a little worse and worse. The things that they say get a little worse and worse, and there's microaggressions throughout the house all the time. That's no different from business partners or co-workers. All right, so we're seeing in the beginning of the end. I do believe that we've seen it for like a year and a half with First Take and Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, and I think this is what's going on, man. But other than that, I think Skip showed totally disrespected him on national TV, and I don't think there's no going back from that. If Shannon Sharpe is the type of guy that I think he is, there's no going back from that. So that's my thoughts, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace.